At some point in life, we all face falls. These are difficult moments, often unexpected, that seem to paralyze us and make us doubt our strength. But it is precisely in these moments that life offers us the greatest opportunity, the chance to start over. Starting over is not simply going back to where we were, it is about turning every fall into a stepping stone to success. The power of starting over begins with a choice. You can decide to stay still, lamenting your losses, or you can get up, dust yourself off, and move forward with renewed courage. It is natural to feel fear, insecurity, and even discouragement. But the real secret lies in understanding that life is not a straight line, but rather a series of cycles, where every end is the beginning of something new. Imagine a gardener planting a seed. Before seeing the flower bloom, he needs to water, care for, and patiently wait. If the seed doesn't sprout on the first try, he does not abandon the garden. He tries again, adjusts the soil, changes his strategy. That is how we should act with our lives. Every failed attempt is a lesson that brings us closer to blossoming. The feeling of failure can be overwhelming, but it is only a chapter of your story, not the entire story. What separates those who achieve success from those who give up is the ability to turn falls into renewed strength. Think about how many famous people we admire today faced multiple failures before reaching their dreams. Starting over is a hidden power within each of us. But why is starting over so hard? Because it requires courage to face the unknown, to deal with inner doubt, and with the fear of rejection or error. It is a process that forces us out of our comfort zone and challenges us to grow. However, it is precisely in this growth that true transformation lies. The first step to starting over is self-forgiveness. Forgiving yourself for past mistakes, for choices that didn't work out, is essential to free your mind and heart. The weight of guilt can keep us trapped, but forgiveness opens space for new possibilities. Remember, you are not your failures. You are the sum of your learnings and your ability to start over. Next comes the construction of a new purpose. Based on the lessons learned, it is time to define a renewed path with clear and realistic goals. Starting over is not a leap into the dark, but a conscious movement guided by dreams worth pursuing. Having a strong purpose helps keep focus even in the face of difficulties. Finally, it is important to recognize that starting over is a journey, not a single event. Every day brings new opportunities to grow, adjust routes, and strengthen your will. With patience and perseverance, you will realize that falls are not permanent obstacles, but essential steps to building your success. On this journey of starting over, resilience becomes your greatest ally. It is what allows you to stand firm when everything seems to crumble. Remember, life can knock you down, but only you can choose to get up. And with every new start, you get closer to the person you've always wanted to be. When we decide to embrace the power of starting over, we discover we are not alone on this path. Often, the stories of overcoming that inspire us are not about people who never fell, but about those who had the courage to get up, learn, and move forward. These stories show us that failure is not an end, but an invitation to reinvent ourselves. It is crucial to understand that the process of starting over requires patience. The anxiety to see quick results can be a dangerous enemy. True growth happens at the pace of time, in daily persistence that is often invisible to others' eyes. Every small step taken with faith is a silent progress toward a new horizon. Also, we need to cultivate self-confidence, that inner voice that reminds us of our value, even when everything seems lost. Building this confidence does not happen overnight. It is the result of constant work, recognizing one's own qualities and achievements, no matter how small. Self-confidence is the fuel for starting over, because without it, doubt and fear gain ground. Another essential aspect of this journey is the importance of creating an environment that fosters growth. This includes choosing carefully the people with whom we share our battles and victories. Surrounding yourself with people who believe in you, encourage you, and inspire you makes all the difference in keeping motivation alive. Remember, positive energy is contagious and transforms the way we face challenges. At the same time, we must learn to recognize and accept our limitations. Starting over does not mean trying to be perfect or doing everything alone. It means having the humility to ask for help, to learn from others, and to accept that the path may be different from what was planned. Sometimes starting over leads us to unexpected destinations, which can be even better than we imagined. It is also important that during this process, we remain connected to our essence. Routine, problems, and external demands can distance us from what truly matters. Starting over gains strength when we align our actions with our deepest values, when we make choices that respect who we are and what we want for our lives. And then, even in the face of difficulties, we need to cultivate hope. Hope is not a passive feeling, but an active attitude that keeps us firm in the search for the best. It is the beacon that lights the way when darkness tries to dominate us. And with hope, motivation grows, creating a powerful cycle that pushes us. Over time, we realize that the power of starting over is also directly linked to our ability to adapt. Life is in constant transformation, and the ability to adjust to changes is essential for those who want to build something solid. Mental and emotional flexibility are characteristics of winners because they allow us to find creative solutions even in difficult moments. Another dimension of starting over is the importance of self-knowledge. When we know ourselves deeply, we can identify what truly makes us feel good, what we need to change, and what our true desires are. This knowledge is the foundation for an authentic restart that respects our individuality and potential. On this path, doubts and even existential crises are common. These are necessary moments for us to evaluate what we are doing, to adjust the course, and to align our goals with what really matters. These pauses for reflection are fundamental so we don't lose ourselves along the way, and to avoid turning the restart into a cycle of frustrated attempts. Moreover, forgiveness toward others becomes a liberating element in this journey. Holding grudges, resentments, and others' guilt creates unnecessary weight that hinders progress. Forgiving is not forgetting but choosing inner peace, making space for love and renewal. Starting over happens with more lightness when we leave behind what keeps us from moving forward. It is also important to remember that success is not a destination, but a daily construction. Every effort, every decision made with awareness and courage contributes to building this path. Valuing the process is as important as celebrating achievements because true transformation lies there. And when fear appears, and it will, we need to face it as a sign that we are leaving the comfort zone. Fear should not paralyze, but serve as an alert to the importance of our journey. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite. At the end of this journey, we understand that the power of starting over is one of the greatest strengths we can develop in our lives. It is not just about getting up after a fall, but about embracing the transformation process that every restart offers us. It is accepting that we are beings in constant evolution, capable of reinventing ourselves as many times as necessary. And it is in this endless cycle that we find the true meaning of success. Not the superficial success measured only by external achievements, but inner success that manifests in peace, self-esteem, and personal fulfillment. When we learn to turn our falls into steps, victory stops being a distant point and becomes a daily walk. Therefore, I invite you to look at your falls with new eyes, to see in them the opportunity for rebirth. Every challenge, every difficulty brings a valuable lesson and the chance to build a stronger path. The secret is not to give up, to allow yourself to start over whenever necessary. Remember, the power of starting over is in your hands. You have the ability to turn your experiences into learning, your pains into strength, and your failures into stepping stones to success. Life is made of cycles, and every restart is a chance to be better, go further, and live with more purpose. May this message serve as a constant reminder that no matter how many times you fall, what really matters is how many times you choose to get up. Success is not the end of the journey, but the sum of all steps taken with courage, faith, and determination. And now all that remains is to thank you for watching. May the power of starting over inspire your life every day.